The palace suddenly became silent. Queen Aquago stood in the middle of the royal corridor, unable to move. The palace guard had just told her that Queen Awake's missing necklace had been discovered inside her room. "That is impossible," Aquago whispered. The guard looked uncomfortable. "My queen, I only came to deliver the king's order." Aquago stared at him. "Where exactly was the necklace found?" "Inside your personal chest." "My chest?" "Yes, my queen." Aquago shook her head. "Someone is setting me up." The guard lowered his eyes. "I believe you, my queen." "You believe me?" "Yes." "Then why are you standing there as if I am already guilty?" The guard immediately bowed. "Forgive me." Aquago took a deep breath. "Take me back to the palace." "Yes, my queen." As Aquago entered the palace, she noticed something strange. Almost every servant was watching her. Some whispered. Others quickly looked away. Aquago's heart sank. She had entered the palace as a poor village girl. She had faced insults. She had survived jealousy. But this was different. Now the entire palace was beginning to see her as a thief. She walked directly toward the king's chamber. But before she reached it, 2 guards blocked her path. "My queen, the king has ordered that nobody enters." "I am his wife." "We know." "Then move." "We cannot." Aquago became angry. "Tell the king that Queen Aquago is here." One guard immediately went inside. A few moments later he returned. "His Majesty says you should wait in the council chamber." Aquago nodded. "Fine." She walked away. But she did not notice Mirimma standing at the end of the corridor. Mirimma watched her carefully. Then she smiled. "Exactly where I wanted you." Inside the council chamber, the king sat silently. The royal clerk stood beside him. On the table were several objects: the royal seal, the missing necklace, and a small piece of cloth. The king picked up the necklace. "Who found this?" "The palace maid," the clerk answered. "And where?" "Inside Queen Aquago's private chest." "Who had access to her room?" The clerk hesitated. "The queen herself, her sister Awake, palace maids, and the royal guards." The king looked at the necklace. "Where is Awake?" "She is waiting outside." "Bring her." Awake entered. She looked nervous. "Your Highness." "Come closer." Awake approached. The king held up the necklace. "Is this yours?" "Yes." "Are you certain?" "Yes, my king." "Do you know how it got into Aquago's chest?" Awake looked confused. "No." The king studied her face. "Did Aquago ever ask about this necklace?" Awake hesitated. "She asked me about it when it disappeared." "Did she know where you kept it?" "Yes." The king nodded. "Did you accuse her of taking it?" Awake lowered her head. "Yes." "Why?" "Because I was frightened." The king remained silent. Awake's eyes filled with tears. "My king, I regret it. Do you believe your sister stole your necklace?" Awake looked toward the door. Then she whispered, "No." The king's expression softened. "Then why did you accuse her?" "I don't know." "That answer is important." Awake looked up. "What do you mean?" "Because someone may have wanted you to doubt your sister." Awake's eyes widened. "You think someone is doing this deliberately?" "I do." The king stood. "Go back to your room." "Yes, my king." Awake turned to leave. But before she reached the door, the king said, "Awake." He turned. "Do not tell anyone what we discussed." "I understand." After she left, the clerk stepped forward. "Your Highness." "Yes." "There is something else." "What?" The clerk placed the royal seal on the table. "I found this in Queen Mirimma's chamber." The king's eyes became cold. "And now the necklace is found inside Queen Aquago's chamber." "Yes, my king." The king slowly connected the pieces. "Someone is trying to make me believe Aquago is guilty." The clerk nodded. "But why?" "That is what we must discover." Suddenly there was a knock. The king immediately covered the seal. "Enter." A senior palace official walked in. "Your Highness, the royal council is waiting." "I will come shortly." The official bowed. But before leaving, he looked at the king. "Your Highness, there is one more matter." "What?" "Queen Mirimma has requested permission to address the council." The king's expression changed. "Tell her I will decide when she speaks." "Yes, my king." The official left. The clerk looked worried. "Your Highness, should I hide the seal?" "No." "Then what?" "Keep it exactly where it is." The clerk looked confused. "Why?" "Because I want to know who comes looking for it." The clerk understood. "You are setting a trap." The king nodded. "Exactly." Meanwhile, Mirimma was waiting inside her chamber. Her personal maid entered. "My queen." "What happened?" "The king has not called for you." Mirimma became angry. "He is investigating." "Yes." "Did the clerk say anything?" "No." Mirimma walked toward the mirror. She stared at herself. "This is not going according to plan." The maid remained silent. Mirimma suddenly turned. "Did you put the necklace inside Aquago's chest yourself?" "Yes, my queen." "Are you certain nobody saw you?" "Nobody." Mirimma smiled. "Good." Then she noticed something. The maid was trembling. "Why are you shaking?" "I am not." "You are." The maid lowered her head. Mirimma stepped closer. "Did you speak to anyone?" "No." "Are you lying?" "No, my queen." Mirimma stared at her for several seconds. Then she smiled. "Good." But the maid knew the truth. She had seen something that morning. She had seen the palace clerk standing near Mirimma's chamber. And she knew he was suspicious. Mirimma dismissed her. The moment the door closed, Mirimma whispered, "I need to know what the clerk told the king." She immediately sent her guard to follow him. But the king's trap had already begun. The palace clerk walked through the corridor carrying a small wooden box. 2 guards watched him. The clerk entered an empty archive room. Then he looked around. He opened the box. Inside was the royal seal. But it was not the same seal the king had hidden. It was a duplicate. The clerk had prepared it himself. He whispered, "Let's see who comes for it." He placed the box on the table and left through another door. Minutes later, footsteps approached. Someone entered. The person looked around, then went directly toward the box. The clerk watched from behind a wooden shelf. The person opened the box. The clerk's eyes widened. It was not Mirimma. It was Mirimma's personal guard. He took the seal. The clerk immediately stepped out. "Where are you going?" The guard froze. "You! What are you doing here?" "I was ordered to collect this." "By whom?" The guard said nothing. "By Queen Mirimma." Silence. The clerk stepped closer. "Tell me." Suddenly the guard grabbed him. The 2 men struggled. The clerk shouted, "Guards!" 2 royal guards rushed inside. The personal guard tried to escape. But they caught him. "Take him to the king." "Yes." The guard looked terrified. "Wait." But it was too late. He was dragged away. When the news reached Mirimma, her face turned pale. "My guard has been arrested." "Yes, my queen." "What did he say?" "He refused to speak." Mirimma sat down. For the first time, she realized the king was much closer to the truth than she had expected. She immediately remembered her grandmother's warning. "Once you begin this, you may not be able to control what happens." Mirimma clenched her fists. No. She refused to lose. She needed another move. A bigger move. That evening, Aquago was finally allowed to meet the king. She entered the chamber slowly. The king stood. "Aquago." She looked at him. "Your Highness." "Come here." She walked closer. The king noticed tears in her eyes. "You are crying." "I am trying not to." He gently touched her face. "I know you did not take that necklace." Quago looked at him. "You believe me?" "Yes." She suddenly broke down. "I don't understand why someone is doing this to me." The king held her. "You are not alone." Aquago cried against his chest. My sister must think I betrayed her. She doesn't. How do you know? Because I spoke with her. Aquago pulled away. What did she say? She said she does not believe you stole it. Aquago closed her eyes. Thank the gods. The king looked at her. But there is something you need to know. What? I found the royal seal inside Mirimma's chamber. Aquago became silent. What does that mean? It means someone has been accessing the royal archives. And the necklace. I believe they are connected. Aquago looked frightened. Then Mirimma. Do not accuse her yet. But I need evidence. Aquago nodded. I understand. The king took her hand. Until this is over, stay close to me. Aquago nodded. But suddenly there was a loud knock. The king turned. Enter. A guard rushed inside. Your Highness. What happened? The prisoner has confessed. The king's eyes narrowed. Who? The queen's personal guard. Aquago looked shocked. What did he confess? The guard swallowed. He said he was ordered to steal something from the royal archive. By whom? The guard hesitated. He named Queen Mirimma. Aquago covered her mouth. The king immediately stood. Bring him here. Yes, your highness. The guard left. Aquago looked at the king. Is this finally the truth? Maybe. But why would Mirimma want to destroy me? The king looked at her. Because she may believe you are taking something from her. What? The throne. Aquago shook her head. I don't want the throne. I know. But she may not believe that. Suddenly another guard entered. Your Highness. Yes. There is another discovery. What? The guard placed a folded paper before the king. This was found inside Queen Mirimma's chamber. The king opened it. His eyes widened. Aquago leaned closer. What is it? The king read silently. Then his expression changed completely. Aquago looked frightened. What does it say? The king slowly looked at her. It is a message. To whom? The king did not answer immediately. Then he said, to Mirimma's grandmother. Aquago's face went pale. What does it say? The king handed her the paper. Aquago read it. Her hands began shaking. The message contained only a few words. The sisters are separated. The next step can begin. Aquago looked at the king. They were planning this. Yes. But who wrote it? The king stared at the handwriting. That is the question. Then the palace doors suddenly opened. The palace clerk rushed inside. Your Highness. What happened? The prisoner is dead. Everyone froze. What? He was found inside the prison chamber. How? We don't know. The king's face became hard. Seal the palace. Yes, your highness. Nobody leaves. The guards immediately rushed away. Aquago held the king's hand. My king. He looked at her. This is no longer a simple palace conspiracy. Aquago swallowed. Then what is it? The king looked toward the dark palace corridor. It is a war. And somewhere in the palace, Mirimma stood alone in the darkness. Her personal guard was dead. Her secret was exposed. But she still had one final weapon. She quietly opened a hidden wooden box. Inside was an old family document. A document containing a secret about Aquago's birth. Mirimma smiled. Now let's see if the king still loves you when he discovers who you really are. The night became darker. And the secret buried for 26 years was finally about to return. The entire palace was under lockdown. No servant was allowed to leave. No visitor was allowed to enter. The guards had sealed every gate of Umoisi Kingdom. Inside the royal chamber, King Umoisi stood beside Aquago, holding the mysterious document that had been discovered inside Queen Mirimma's chamber. Aquago could barely breathe. What secret could possibly be hidden about my birth? She asked. The king looked at her. I don't know yet. Then why did Mirimma have that document? That is what I intend to discover. Aquago's hands trembled. My king, I need to see my mother. You will. But if this document contains something about my birth, she may already know. The king nodded. Then we will ask her. Just then the palace clerk entered. Your Highness. Yes. The guards have searched Queen Mirimma's chamber. And they found another hidden compartment. The king immediately turned. What was inside? Several old documents. Bring them. The clerk bowed. Yes, Your Highness. A few minutes later, he returned with a wooden box. The king opened it. Inside were old letters, family records, and sealed documents. Aquago stepped closer. One document immediately caught her attention. My mother's name. The king picked it up. The document was more than 26 years old. Aquago stared at it. Why would Mirimma keep my mother's records? The clerk examined the document. Your Highness, this is not an ordinary family record. What is it? It appears to be a royal registration document. Aquago looked confused. Royal? The clerk nodded. Yes. The king opened another document. His expression changed. Aquago. What? Come here. She moved closer. The king pointed toward a name. Aquago stared at it. Her heart stopped. The name written on the document was not the name she had known all her life. What does this mean? The king remained silent. Aquago's voice became louder. What does this mean? The clerk looked at the king. My king, perhaps we should verify this before telling her. No. Aquago stepped back. I deserve to know. The king looked into her eyes. This document claims that you were born inside the royal household. Aquago froze. What? You were registered as a royal child. No. She shook her head. That is impossible. You were raised in a village. I know. Your mother raised you there. I know. Aquago's voice broke. Then how can I be royal? Nobody answered. Suddenly, a loud cry came from outside. Open the door. Everyone turned. It was Aquago's mother. The guards brought her inside. The moment she saw her daughter, she rushed toward her. Aquago! Mother! They embraced. Aquago immediately began crying. Mother, tell me the truth. Her mother became frightened. About what? Was I born in the royal palace? The woman's face went pale. The king looked at her. Tell us. She slowly sat down. My daughter. Mother, please. Her mother wiped her tears. Yes. Aquago stepped backward. What? You were born in the royal palace. The room became silent. Aquago could barely stand. Why did you never tell me? Because I was protecting you. Protecting me from what? From the people who wanted you dead. The king's expression hardened. Who? Aquago's mother looked at him. Before you became king, there was a struggle inside the royal family. What struggle? A child was born who threatened someone's claim to power. Aquago whispered. Me. Her mother nodded. You. The king stared at the old woman. Who wanted her dead? She shook her head. I cannot say. You must. I was warned. By whom? Her mother looked toward the palace doors. By Mirimma's family. Aquago's eyes widened. Mirimma? Yes. The king's face became cold. Why? Because Aquago's birth changed everything. The king stepped closer. Explain. Her mother took a deep breath. Aquago was born to a woman from the royal bloodline. Who? The old woman looked at Aquago. Your real mother. Aquago froze. My real mother. Her mother began crying. I raised you. But you are not my biological mother. No. Aquago covered her mouth. Everything she had believed about her life was collapsing. Her childhood. Her family. Her identity. Everything. The king immediately stepped toward her. Aquago. She pushed him away. Don't. Aquago. I need time. She ran from the room. The king wanted to follow her. But her mother stopped him. Let her go. The king looked at her. She needs to understand what happened. She has spent 26 years believing one truth. The old woman wiped her tears. You cannot force another truth into her heart in one moment. The king nodded reluctantly. Meanwhile, Aquago ran through the palace corridors. She entered an empty garden. She sat beneath a large tree and began crying. I don't know who I am anymore. A voice came from behind. You are still Aquago. He turned. It was awake. Aquago immediately looked away. Leave me alone. Awake sat beside her. I won't. I don't know who I am. You are my sister. Aquago looked at her. Am I? Awake grabbed her hand. You are the only sister I have ever known. But I'm not your biological sister. I don't care. Aquago began crying again. Awake hugged her. You protected me when everyone else ignored me. You stood beside me when Mirimma attacked me. You are my sister. Aquago held her tightly. For the first time that night she felt safe. But from a distance, Mirimma watched them. Her plan had failed. She had wanted the sisters to hate each other. Instead, the revelation had made them even closer. Mirimma became furious. No. He turned away. No, this cannot happen. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her mind. Doubt. But now there was no doubt between the sisters. There was something stronger. Love. Mirimma returned to her chamber. She opened the hidden box again. Inside was another document. She stared at it. This one will destroy everything. Before she could open it, someone knocked. Who? Your Majesty. Mirimma froze. It was the king. She quickly hid the box. Come in. The king entered. He looked directly at her. Where is the document? What document? The one about Aquago's birth. Mirimma smiled. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me. Mirimma's expression changed. I am your queen. And Aquago is my wife. Exactly. Then why did you keep a secret document about her? Mirimma remained silent. The king stepped closer. You knew. Knew what? That Aquago was connected to the royal bloodline. Mirimma smiled. I knew something. What? That you were too quick to trust her. The king's expression hardened. Be careful. Why? Because you are speaking about my wife. I am speaking about the woman who entered this palace and took everything from me. The king stared at her. You think Aquago took something from you? My position. Your jealousy is not evidence. Mirimma laughed bitterly. You will understand soon. Understand what? That Aquago's birth is not the only secret. The king stopped. What do you mean? Mirimma smiled. You will find out. The king turned toward the door. Guards. 2 guards entered. Search her chamber. Mirimma immediately became nervous. No. The guards began searching. They opened drawers. They checked cabinets. Then one guard found the hidden wooden box. My king. He handed it over. Mirimma looked terrified. The king opened it. Inside was another old document. He unfolded it. His eyes widened. Aquago's name was written again. But this time something else appeared beside it. A royal bloodline symbol. The king read the document carefully. Then he looked at Mirimma. You knew everything. Mirimma remained silent. Who is Aquago's real father? Mirimma smiled. You don't want to know. I asked you a question. You are not ready for the answer. The king stepped closer. Tell me. Mirimma finally whispered. Aquago's father was the former heir to this kingdom. The king froze. What? The man whose death changed the royal succession. The king's face became pale. That's impossible. It is written in the records. Who was he? Mirimma looked directly at him. Your father's elder brother. The king stepped backward. Aquago was not simply connected to the royal family. She was the daughter of the man who should have inherited the throne. Which meant that by blood, Aquago had a claim to the throne herself. The king looked at the document again. Why was this hidden? Mirimma laughed softly. Because if the kingdom learns the truth, everything changes. The king looked furious. You manipulated the sisters because of this? No. Then why? Because I knew that one day you would discover the truth. And you wanted Aquago destroyed before that happened. Yes. The king's voice became cold. You tried to destroy my wife. Mirimma looked at him. I tried to protect my future. By framing her. By stopping her. The king turned toward the guards. Take Queen Mirimma to the royal chambers under guard. Mirimma's eyes widened. You cannot do this. I am the king. You will regret it. The guards took her away. But Mirimma smiled as she passed him. Because she knew something the king did not. The document he had discovered was only half the truth. The real secret was still hidden. Meanwhile, Aquago and Awake sat together in the garden. Awake looked at her sister. Whatever happens, I will stand beside you. Aquago smiled through her tears. I don't know what my future looks like. You don't need to know. What if the kingdom rejects me? Then I will stand beside you. What if the king changes his mind? He won't. How can you be sure? Because he loves you. Aquago looked toward the palace. For the first time since learning the truth about her birth, she smiled. But then a palace messenger came running toward them. My queens! What happened? Awake asked. The king has ordered both of you to come to the throne room immediately. Why? The messenger hesitated. There is a new discovery. What discovery? The messenger lowered his voice. The king has found the identity of Aquago's real father. Aquago stood. Who? The messenger looked at her. The former crown prince. Aquago's heart stopped. She looked at Awake. Then toward the palace. But before she could move, a loud horn echoed across the kingdom. The royal council had been summoned. Something even bigger was about to happen. Because if Aquago was truly the daughter of the former crown prince, then her blood gave her a claim that could challenge the entire royal succession. And Mirimma knew it. The next battle would not be fought between two queens. It would be fought over the throne itself.